friends, it's Miss Drywa again. I hope you all are having an amazing day. So today for science, we are going to now talk about our second planet of the week. So yesterday we talked all about Earth. Now today we're going to talk about Mars. Alright? And Mars is pretty interesting because as you'll find out, no people have actually been to Mars, but they know what Mars looks like. So we'll find that out today. Alright, so let's get started. We're going to look at some of our planets. We're going to look at the ones that we briefly talked about, and then we are going to learn all about Mars. So, remember, when we want to figure out the order of the planets, because, sometimes we want to know these things and we need to know them, we have a way to help us. My very excited mother just served us nachos. Alright, so nachos are always the answer at this point. We have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Right? My very excited mother just served us nachos. So we have already talked about Mercury, right? Our first planet to the sun. We have already talked about Venus, our second planet from the sun. Yesterday we learned about Earth, our third planet from the sun. So that means today we're on our fourth planet of the sun, which is Mars. We're going to talk about Mars today. All right, and I have some pretty interesting facts about Mars. So, if we take a look, I'm going to move myself up. If we take a look here, we have it again, the same picture we're going to keep using. We have the sun here, right? Because that's our center, it's our starting point. Mercury, our first planet. Venus, our second. Earth is our third. Excited. Mother, Mars, it's our fourth planet, right? Sorry, fourth. Now, this planet is much further away than the other planets. So now we talked about how this planet here was about 57 million kilometers. Remember, 1 kilometer is about a 12-minute walk, okay, for us. Then we have about 108 million kilometers, about 149 million kilometers. This planet, my friends, is 1,227.9 million kilometers. That's how far Mars is from the sun. It's very far, friends. Okay? So, and if you look at it, you can notice it's red, which we're going to learn about too. So, this is what Mars looks like. Remember, on one of those fancy telescopes that can take pictures. Because like I briefly told you, people have not been to Mars. So, this is what Mars looks like when you look in the telescope. Pretty cool. Now, let's learn about Mars. So, Mars is the fourth planet from the sun. So number 4, remember we have our sun is here, right? We have Mercury, Venus, Earth, and now Mars. Okay, number 4. It is nicknamed the red planet because it looks red from the red rocks and red dirt on Mars. So, remember how I said it kind of looks red? All right, let's go back to this picture. This is all red dirt and red rocks. That's pretty cool, friends, because we don't really have a lot of red dirt or red rocks here on planet Earth that I'm aware of, at least near us. We don't. But Mars has red dirt and red rocks, and that's why it's the red planet. Okay, pretty cool. Scientists think that Mars used to have rivers, lakes, and even an ocean. So even though they don't see them now, scientists, remember our friends are people who study science, all different types of science, they think that at one time in the past, maybe years ago, there used to be rivers, lakes, and even an ocean on Mars. And that's pretty cool because we have those things here. We have rivers, we have lakes, and we have oceans. Now, they're not there anymore, but they think they used to have it at one point. That's pretty cool. People have never been to Mars, but scientists have landed spacecraft on Mars and have learned a lot about this planet. So when they say they landed spacecraft on Mars, basically what they're saying is they have these fancy machines, right, that they fly up into space and they're able to land them on Mars. And then those machines are able to have a camera, so scientists that are back on Earth can look and see what the machine or the spacecraft is seeing, the robot basically. And the robot can show them the dirt, the rocks. That's how they know they have red dirt and red rocks. And that's how they're able to tell that maybe back in the day there used to be rivers and oceans and lakes, because they might find pieces that are left behind that you would typically find in a river, a lake, or an ocean, a body of water. So, even though people like us, we haven't been there, or scientists haven't physically been there, they haven't been walking on Mars, they have robots that can tell them and show them a little bit more about Mars. That's pretty cool. Mars has 2 moons. So whereas we have 1 moon and Mercury and Venus have no moons, Mars has 2 moons. That's pretty cool. 2 moons, friends. Okay. And now, also, let's talk about, move myself, the days to orbit the sun, because this is pretty interesting. So, we had already learned that Mercury orbits the sun in 88 days. Remember, so orbits the sun. So that means here's my sun, and here's the planet. They're going around it, right? They're orbiting the sun. That's all that means. Mercury orbits the sun in 88 days. Pretty fast. It's the fastest planet. Venus then orbits the sun in 225 days. Okay? So longer than Mercury, but not as long as Earth. Earth takes 365 days to orbit the sun. That's 1 year for us. But then Mars takes 687 days to orbit the sun. Now remember, Mars is a lot further from the sun than these other planets are, right? It's at about 1,227 kilometers, I think. Let's go back and look. Yep, 1,227.9 million kilometers, I'm sorry. So it's much further from the sun than the other planets, and it takes much longer for the planet Mars to orbit the sun. Pretty interesting, friends. So, let's recap on some of the things that we have learned about Mars today. So we learned some interesting facts about Mars, right? We learned that it's the 4th planet from the sun, right? We learned that they have Mercury, Venus, Earth, and now Mars. We learned that it's the red planet, and it's the red planet because they have Mars has red dirt and red rocks on it. And we know that because our scientists were able to send up robots or machines that even though we can't be there, people, humans, they're sending robots so they can see what Mars looks like. Right? Scientists also believe that there were once oceans, lakes, and rivers on Mars. Pretty cool. And we also learned that Mars has 2 moons, right? We on Earth have 1 moon, but Mars has 2 moons. And Mercury and Venus have 0. But Mars, 2. 2 moons. That's pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool if you looked up in the sky at night and you saw 2 moons, right? Alright, friends. So we learned a lot of facts about Mars today. You're going to fill in your concept map with these facts that you've learned. Right? And then it's pretty cool learning about all these different planets that are out there in space. Right? And how some of them are very similar and some of them are very different. Alright, well keep up the great work, friends, and until we see each other tomorrow. Bye! Have a great day!